So right now I'm finishing the 5th and final season of The Wire, a show that was originally on HBO. I get it off of Netflix. And I was told, I heard about this show essentially through word of mouth, many of it here on YouTube, a bit on Stickam and in other places and people that I've talked to. Now, first of all, I have to say that going in, this show I think was a bit overhyped. A lot of people basically told me that this was the greatest show ever. And as of right now, I think I have to disagree with that. And one of the main problems I have with this show is that, to borrow a term from books, it's not really a page-turner. It's certainly interesting, and in fact, probably parts of the show will stay with me much longer than shows like The Shield, which had much more momentum and much more visceral and kinetic. And dealt with similar issues, but The Wire deals with similar issues, and even though it's more of a slow-burning show, definitely gets its message across in a much more, impactful way. I mean, depending on the way that you process information. But basically, this show is about the war on drugs in the city of Baltimore, a city I don't think I ever want to go to now. Maybe there are nice parts of it they just don't show in the show, but it shows the war on drugs from many different angles, and it elucidates the problems on all sides with the entire issue, and sort of why things are the way they are. And imagine in a perfect world that the police trying to stop the drug dealers would be like playing a game of whack-a-mole. You know, they catch one drug dealer, another drug dealer rises up. They catch one drug dealer, another drug dealer rises up. But as this show shows, it's more complicated than that. For example, in the first season, Jimmy McNulty, the asshole of the show, he's a detective, and he witnesses the trial of D'Angelo Barksdale, who is the nephew of Avon Barksdale, who was a drug kingpin in certain project terraces in Baltimore. And he's acquitted on a murder trial, and this sparks McNulty to go to his friend, who's a judge, I think he was the judge of the trial, I don't remember, and basically lay out, look, there's this guy Avon, D'Angelo's his nephew, he runs these towers, it's a big problem. This causes the judge to, give the police brass some shit, which causes them to set up a detail to get this guy. But immediately it becomes clear that the brass just wants people like the judges to be happy and shut up and go away. They don't give a flying fuck about really solving the case. They want to get this case done as quickly as possible with as little effort as possible, and they don't, even when they're told with and confronted with the full scope of the investigation, and even when the investigation sprawls out wider and wider, they still want it shut down as quickly as possible. No, just do some buy-bust, get it over with. It's almost like, for the police, their main adversary is not the drug dealers. I mean, if it was just a matter of, okay, let's go out, let's get the drug dealers, get it done, the show would have fizzled out really fast. I mean, it would have been like a 5-episode miniseries if it was just a show about, cops busting some drug kingpin. The thing is that the brass is basically shitting on them at every step because they really don't care. They're just like, get it done quick, make it look nice for the papers. There's one scene between Detective McNulty and the lawyer woman whose name I don't recall off the top of my head, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but it sort of shows the crux of the matter, in which McNulty goes off on her because it's like, yep, nobody wants to say what needs to be said, everybody plays nice, everybody stays friends, and nothing gets done. And that is the problem. It's a problem of bureaucracy, and it shows, you know, and it also shows within the realm of the drug dealers, you know, the world that these people live in, why they do what they do, and you know, the sort of you know, their world. And the show is very layered and complex. It's well written. It may not have you on the edge of your seat at every moment, but it will have you thinking. And it's basically like a giant, it's a giant subtle, very subtle indictment of things like the war on drugs and politics and the status quo. And but it's not just that. It shows, you know, it says these are complex problems. It's not a matter of just, you know, do some hand-to-hands and roll them up the ladder to get to the kingpin. It's much more complicated than that. And so it's definitely a thinking man's show in that regard. The characters are interesting. They have depth. Stories are well written. It shows, you know, it really I would almost say it doesn't necessarily give you a complete view of the thing. I mean, there's it shows the story from the perspective of the cops, the drug dealers. There's one junkie that's a central character in the show. In one season, it shows from the perspective of a teacher in the inner city schools. In this latest season, there was the perspective of the city newspaper and the politicians, and all of it shows the thing from almost every perspective except from the perspective of the, you know, a citizen. And there's plenty of those kicking around the show though, and it's definitely something worth watching. It's complex, layered, sad, thinking man's show, and it's good TV. And I know a lot of people love to bash television. I hate television. I never watch television. Yeah, you're probably right. But there are some shows worth watching, and this is one of them, especially if you're interested in things like the war on drugs and politics. This is a great show. Watch it.